Life is an exercise in duality. One can only appreciate pleasure if there has been pain to put it into context. The delightful taste of a Knickerbocker glory is nothing if you've never staked your bollocks out over a worktop and set about them with a toffee hammer. Anyway, that's why I'm not allowed in the ice cream parlour anymore, but my point is, it's time for my top 5 and bottom 5 games of 2013. Restricted as always to games I did reviews for. I'm not discounting the possibility that one of the PS4 launch titles belongs in the top 5. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. I am totally discounting the possibility that one of the PS4 launch titles belongs in the top 5. Well then, let's get it on. My top 5 was difficult this year. 4 through 1 were fairly straightforward, but I just couldn't think of a 5th game that really stood out. In the end, I gathered before me 3 games that were basically good, but I was kind of meh about at the time, namely Last of Us, Tomb Raider, and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Then I asked myself, if I was Scott of the Antarctic waiting for Oates to come back and had these to pass the time with, which would I want to play first as I digested another plateful of curried husky? No contest. Cyborg Ninja flip-outs beat dirty, depressing people getting their shit ruined. On the other hand, populating my bottom 5 was piss easy. I barely have room for everything I want to slag off, but let's keep things uncontroversial with the number 5. Star Trek. A truly miserable experience. Both it and the film it was intended to market represent everything that is wrong with the entertainment industry. There is no beloved franchise it won't stab with forks and then force to dance on the forks like their little Charlie Chaplin legs. A just plain badly designed mess worthy only of the title least bad science fiction movie tie-in on this list. You know me, I hate a series that meanders infinitely on like a hamster in a Mobius strip, so I was running out of patience for Assassin's Creed. What the hell are you doing putting another fucking one out? I'd have thought after 3 was like watching a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special intercut with scenes from a very boring documentary about knives. You'd have the sense to consider winding this shit up. Sorry, replied Assassin's Creed. Would an exciting pirate adventure on the high seas help you stomach our distasteful attitude? Yes, you fucking pricks. Sometimes a game belongs in the top 5 less for its inherent dribbling awfulness and more for what it represents, and after all the unnecessary anti-consumer bullshit lately, the SimCity debacle almost seems like the least of it. Nevertheless, behold my excellent impression of EA. Let's take a game that's traditionally and unavoidably single-player only, crowbar in useless multiplayer elements and force users to play online on servers with the reliability of a gingerbread space station. We have the self-awareness of a sack full of frog spawn. In an entertainment medium where the default state of existence is being really angry at murderers while talking like you were grooming your dog and accidentally inhaled the brush, what a rare treat it is for a game to remember that we're supposed to be having fun. Saints Row 4 is how all video game series should conclude, a big, bouncy, anarchic, irreverent roast of itself and of video games in general. Salute it with the biggest and floppiest knob you have to hand. Well, let's get the really obvious one out of the way before we go any further. Aliens Colonial Marines. What more need be said about this trough of walrus cankers? One couldn't find a more fitting use for the word alien. It alienated players by being drab and awful. It alienated fans of the franchise by fucking up the canon. It alienated its own aliens, ironically, by buggering up their AI. And for an encore, it alienated whoever was left over by lying in its gameplay trailers. Should have saved time and just alienated all their money into a big fire. Hype mongers will tell you that if you can't release a game trailer in which something explodes every 0.3 seconds, then you might as well throw yourself under a bus now. But how pointless their little lives must seem when a game is as simultaneously engaging and unmarketable as Papers, Please by Lucas Pope. It's a real lesson on what a bit of context can add. It's amazing how nail-biting paperwork sorting in a shed can be when you're not sure if you'll be able to buy imaginary turnips to feed your imaginary wife. Getting back to the subject of dirty, depressing people getting their shit ruined, Beyond Two Souls. David Cage somehow does it every time, smashes his previous record in storytelling that's both laughably bad and a little bit creepy. Who wants to watch Ellen Page alternate between crying, beating up sneering toughs and being awkward around hunky boys while schizophrenically dawdling between multiple unconnected themes and tones of interactive story, except one in which it is understood what the word interactive means? I agonised a bit on whether to give Game of the Year to this game or Papers, Please. I asked myself which of the two would make me seem less pretentious, but that debate went fucking nowhere, so fuck it. For all its occasional flabbiness, there's a depth and a complexity to the world and characters that makes the colourful swashbuckling excitement of Bioshock Infinite a clear standout in all the year's flappery. It still occupies my thoughts after most of a year, putting it in a distinct category alongside my quarterly tax returns and the feasibility of suicide. I thought modern military shooters were bad a year ago, but it turns out we were still merely poised on the diving board above the frozen shit. Even Black Ops 2 now seems comparatively self-aware, alongside something like Call of Duty Ghosts, an experience coldly designed to appeal to the worst instincts of a sad majority of unpleasant fucks. I'm not sure the genre could get any lower, but I've been wrong before. Maybe next year we can look forward to a game in which we stop all terrorism in the world by releasing a deadly virus that only targets people who aren't 3/4 white and 1/4 bald eagle. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about that game, Yahtzee? You know, that one. Well, I was hesitant to place it even on a worst games list, because it's not a game, it's congealed failure. I speak no hyperbole when I say that releasing every box with no disc inside would have been less of a mistake. So for one time only, I grant the 0 punctuation Lifetime Achievement Award for total abhorrence to Ride to Hell Retribution, which it will hold indefinitely until a worse game comes along. That should roughly be around the time apes have retaken the Earth.